I think Vantage Circle also, as our recognition partner, enables us even not just from the form of the platform, but also in terms of all the consulting advice and all the suggestions and the recommendations coming in from the team, and that's why. From the numbers that we get from Vantage Circle and the insights that we get from Vantage Circle, we are actually leading in terms of our monetary recognition and non-monetary recognition from across the players.
Hi, Gurleen. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Saurabh. How are we doing?
Doing very well, Gurleen. So, Gurleen, it's very fascinating. I had actually done a fireside chat with Mridul some time ago, and he went more into the programs and the thinking behind the programs. But I'd love to understand a little more about how you people feel about the AIRe framework that we're using for recognition. Where have you seen this working? What are possible inputs that you would like to give to us on it?
Sure. So thank you, Saurabh, for that question. And I think our entire employee recognition is built with the frameworks and the elements of organization culture that we have. And we have a leadership signature which is called Drive Ahead, which is essentially 6 behavioral elements. So any recognition that has to be given out to any employee is linked to one of those behaviors. And I think it all puts in, it all sort of comes together and propagates the AIRe framework, which is based on appreciation, incentivization, and reinforcement. So, when I say that our recognition platform and the recognition framework is linked with the Drive Ahead values, that actually talks about reinforcing those values again and again amongst employees who are recognized. Plus, even the other employees feel encouraged to display those values when they see their team members being recognized on the Drive Ahead behaviors, which is our leadership signature or our organization culture. So I think there we really, as an organization, we propagate the AIRe framework, and of course there's an emotional connect to it as well, because we have a concept of citations where any nominator who's awarding the team member or anybody else in the organization in alignment with the Drive Ahead values has to key in a citation and has to personalize it. So, that element of emotional connects also sort of builds in. So, I would say that, yes, we as an organization propagate AIRe framework, but of course, there's a close linkage with our organization culture, and every award has to be aligned to a behavioral element from amongst the Drive Ahead values.
So, Gurleen, great to know that you feel there's alignment with the AIRe framework, and I think a lot of what you guys had built was already built out, and it kind of, in fact, even speaking to you guys helped us validate our framework itself. But there's always a difference between design and execution. So I've seen a lot of frameworks which are very well designed, a lot of programs that are very well designed, but they don't have the same execution metrics. On the other hand, when we look at TATA Com, we've seen that you guys have some of the most leading statistics in terms of utilization of the platform, in terms of the kind of messaging that happens on the platform. So what's the secret sauce behind that?
Sure. As an organization, we also rely heavily on data that is coming in from different platforms. Recognition platform is one very important aspect there. So, we look at the number of awards being given out in the organization. What is the rate of recognition per employee? So, the average rate of recognition. So, all these data points, along with other data points from our employee engagement survey, the learning interventions that a person has taken, it all comes together, and data from structured and unstructured sources come together to help build a data modeling approach where we identify employees who are at high flight risk. So, when we do that and when we circulate that information and we share that information with the business partner HRs, the managers and the regional HRs of these employees, they are more enabled, I would say, to do focused conversations with these people for proactive retention. And, that has really worked for us, because from this employee cohort of high flight risk employees, there has only been 9% of the leavers from this population because of the focused dialogues done by the BHRs and the regional HRs and the managers. So I would say we actively utilize data from different platforms along with our recognition platform as well, to sort of design our interventions in a more effective manner for different employee cohorts. Yeah.
That's really interesting, and it'll be great if you could share a little more detail about what you're picking up from the recognition platform, how you are linking that. And I understand that there are multiple inputs going into your attrition modeling or attrition prediction process, but how exactly are the inputs from the recognition platform getting used?
So we look at different elements as we just spoke about. What are the number of awards being given out? What are the number of employees that are recognized? And what are the average recognitions per employee? Then we also look at behaviors. So which behaviors are being recognized more, which gives us information around that. Okay, these are the elements of culture which employees are displaying more. And then how do we need to structure our interventions in a way that other behaviors also get imbibed more, also get displayed more. And, of course, there is then recognition on that as well. So that, we move forward in a collective manner on our organization culture and our strategy, and essentially our leadership signature, which is drive ahead, which is very closely aligned to our corporate strategy. So primarily it's that.
It's really interesting, and I think that also aligns with what we're building out into our system, where you'll be able to actually see that how many times have people been recognized by each behavior, and you'll find that certain behaviors are probably promoted or recognized more than others. So that's really interesting.
So that is already there, and I think the platform by Vantage Circle enables all that information. We have a module which is called Manager Insights, where the manager is able to determine, okay, what have been the recognitions that I have given out to my team, and also who are the team members who haven't been recognized from long, so that it equips the manager with the right kind of information to sort of plan recognitions, of course, in a well-deserved manner, of course, and in a timely manner. But then also a team view is what the manager gets through the Manager Insight module. So I feel even the platform enables a lot of these interventions for us.
That's amazing. Gurleen, I'm also very curious to know, there's one part which is manager-driven recognition. And to an extent, you can manage that by giving more data, more insights to the managers. But there's also the big element of peer-to-peer recognition amongst people. Often, in most cases, that's non-monetary. And we've seen that in general, the utilization of non-monetary awards is relatively lower. There again, in the case of TATA Communications, we see that your numbers are significantly higher than industry average. So what have you done on the employee side of things?
One very impactful element of our entire recognition strategy is that we don't have recognition budgets. So, when it comes to, of course, and we'll come to non-monetary, but, even for monetary recognition, a manager is not held up by a specific budget. So whenever there is a well-deserving employee who has displayed around the drive ahead behavior and has contributed immensely to a project or to any assignment, or has brought up something innovative, the manager can just actively go and recognize that team member, right? So there is no budget bound practice for the line managers. So while that is there, that in itself sort of builds and strengthens the overall recognition culture, and that also encourages employees to do peer-to-peer recognition, which is essentially non-monetary recognition. We also have practices such as an appreciation week, where in a year 1 week is identified for sort of fostering the culture of employee recognition and strengthening the culture of employee recognition. And we have different days of the week are assigned different themes. So for example, customer centricity would be one, right? Rockstar or rookie of the year would be another. So employees are encouraged to recognize each other. Managers are encouraged to recognize their team members. Even team members are encouraged to recognize their managers for all the support that they are getting. So I feel collective. It's just a collective sort of offering put together around appreciation week, around having no budget even for monetary recognitions, which overall I think strengthens the culture of recognition, and other employees also feel motivated to recognize their peers, recognize their cross-functional team members, and recognize even their managers for all the support that they're getting. And that's why from the numbers that we get from Vantage Circle and the insights that we get from Vantage Circle, we are actually leading in terms of our monetary recognition and non-monetary recognition from across the players. Yeah.
Great. And last question, I am not going to hold you too long, but very curious to know, how does it work when you don't have recognition budgets? What happens if a manager exceeds his or her budgets?
So Saurabh, like I said, we don't believe in recognition budgets because we feel that any employee who has performed exceptionally and has performed in alignment with Drive Ahead, which is basically the 6 behaviors from our organization culture, needs to be recognized in a timely manner, right? So we don't really look at budgets. Whatever is the recognition for whatever month or on an annual basis, it just gets accounted for against the cost center of the manager, and that's how it works. And it has been working beautifully. And to say that it's not even that managers utilize that tool just for recognizing anybody and everybody just for the sake of recognition, right? It's all very structured. It's all based on whether the employee has performed as per the framework and what has been listed out for each award category. Plus, of course, like I said, in alignment with Drive Ahead. So yes, I mean, till now it has been working beautifully, and we continue to move ahead with that.
Thank you so much, Gurleen. Very insightful. And I think my 2 or 3 big takeaways from there. One is just the use of data. And we all talk about data, but how many companies are effectively utilizing that data? The second is about creating a 360 culture of recognition. It's not just about top down. What I found very interesting was when you spoke about team members recognizing their managers. And I think the third part is, and that sounds very simple, but at a fundamental level, there is an organizational belief in recognition and the power of recognition. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you, Saurabh. I think Vantage Circle also, as our recognition partner, enables us even not just from the form of the platform, but also in terms of all the consulting advice and all the suggestions and the recommendations coming in from the team. I think it just helps build a stronger recognition program in the organization at TATA Communications. So thank you for that. Okay, take care.